And the Out of Bounds show is driven by the Continental Tires at 49 Tire in Richland, Mississippi. They also have a valet service. They'll come pick up your vehicle at your home or office. That's right. They'll service it, brakes, maintenance under the hood, whatever you need as you're getting ready to go to the beach. Travel ball, go to the mountains. 49 Tire in Richland, 49tire.com. Show is also powered by Superior Foundation for all your foundation repairs. Superior Foundation. For all your foundation repairs, Superior Foundation. Todd Sanders, Trey Pace, home builders, commercial builders. Rolled out Superior Foundation about 6 years ago. Lifetime warranty. Superior Foundation for all your foundation needs. And we're off and rolling. SEC Insider hit this morning.
Get that guy drunk. I bet he'd fight everybody. I was just doing a little exercise, just wasting time as I normally do, thinking weird stuff.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
I'd kick his ass out.
Woo. And we're having fun here on a Monday.
Well, I can tell you one thing. The Four Roses was gone a long time ago.
Oh, good Lord.
Be hot take. Be hot take. Ooh, baby. They got Muschamped.
That's literally the one I was about to play. I was like, ooh, he's not playing the Muschamp.
I love that one.
They got Muschamped.
We just watched Georgia get Muschamped earlier today.
No, it was on the SEC Network.
Beautiful.
Only Kirby Smart could lose to Will Muschamp 20-17 in overtime.
Hot garbage.
All right. Dave Bartoo at CFB Matrix on the Out of Bounds show. Bartoo, good morning, buddy.
Swoochy Boochie, good morning to you. Since we're about to talk schedules, I thought I would do our public address announcement that reminds everybody that the SEC is the only conference in which each team has to play a minimum of at least 5 top 20 recruiters, and your argument about their non-conference schedule is a bunch of crap. Thank you.
There's Bartoo's PSA every time he goes on. Hey, I've got a question. Which sports talk you go on sports talk radio shows all over the country,
Right?
And have fun and the Matrix, and you've created all this fun content, and you go in the ACC, the Big Ten country, Pac-12, and of course SEC Big 12. Which station gets mad at you or kind of upset with you the most when you reference tidbits like that around the SEC that's not in the SEC?
Well, I don't. That's the thing. See, you can't have a PSA like that because their recruiting sucks compared to the SEC. So you can't really go that direction. Now, if it's brought up, part of it is it's interesting is I don't get a whole lot of arguments anymore. Because, dude, I got my ducks in a row. You want to bring it, that's fine. I'll be unemotional about it. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to stoop to the level of a fan that's getting all PO'd about something or anything like that. It's just the numbers. And I'll just tell you the story of what the numbers are. Now, you may disagree with it, but I try to, when I tell a story, I try to tell a story that's backed up by what I see and why. Now, whether it's right or wrong, that's another story. But I'm always trying to tell a story that is, I would say, trend numerically correct. So when I'm on a show for the first time or the first few times, yeah, I'll get a little bit of blowback. Mm-hmm. Now the biggest blowback I get is at the end of these shows and Blake trying to freaking pick apart one thing I said to the nth degree.
That's it. Yeah. When we go back and cut up your interview and it's like a 30-second hit and it rubs an LSU fan or somebody wrong and they jump on you on Twitter.
Every once in a while. But I also try to, when I make a statement or make a prediction or something like that, when I'm wrong, like Ed Orgeron, dude, I'm wrong. Missed that. Chip Kelly, dude, didn't see that coming a mile away, But then again, who did?
I think Chip Kelly comes down to UCLA culture a little bit, just like Harbaugh in Michigan, even though he's averaging 9.5, 10 wins, a season. It's not like he's bombing, but there's some cultural, structural issues, like deep and dark in those two athletic departments that they can't quite shake. So it's almost like even if you drop excellent head coaches like Harbaugh and Kelly, they can't even shake those demons, Bartoo.
Yeah, there's something going on behind the curtain, right? Those intangibles that we can't, feel or hear or see. Every once in a while, we get the picture of the dysfunction, right? We get the Tennessee hiring process. Whoa, dude, there's a lot more smoke there than I thought, right? But I'll give some of those programs a pass. But see, with Chip Kelly, I think there's dysfunction there. I agree. Guerrero's gone, so you got a new AD in there.
Right.
But to me, though, the bottom line with UCLA, this is a program that recruited on par with Tennessee, with better than South Carolina. I mean, this is the number 3 recruiter in the entire Pac-12 for 18 years of this century, and Chip Kelly has pulled not their worst, their 2 worst, and by far their 2 worst graded classes in the last 20 years. So, yeah, there may be some dysfunction behind the scenes, but that didn't, prohibit Mora and New Weasel and some of these other guys to be able to pull top 20 classes.
Oh man, I have not heard New Heisel as New Weasel.
Hot garbage.
Okay, so UCLA is
hot garbage.
Yes, that is UCLA. It really is.
All right, let me ask you this: who's the biggest enigma in college football? UCLA, Michigan, or A&M?
I go UCLA and Michigan. A&M to me is really not the enigma. I mean, you're talking, up until this year, the 4th best recruiter in a division. Dude, you don't win from that spot unless there's a massive amount of dysfunction ahead of you.
Okay.
And when is Auburn, LSU, and Alabama all going to have a bad down, coach changeover, sanctions, NCAA investigation year?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard, So now, A&M, I'll give them the pass on that. Michigan, yeah, there's been a lot of actually the Michigan dysfunction. Really, I feel stems from the national title. They won it, and they just haven't, everything turned around culturally upside down. And we see this in a lot of programs. Same thing with Texas. Texas still hasn't got it together. Coaches later, recruiting classes later, still struggling to be in the top 25. And it should be automatic for them. It should be automatic for Michigan. But while we're also talking about some good recruiter underperformers, let's keep in mind the only top 10 recruiter this century to not win a national title is still Georgia.
Yeah. You threw that out last time you were on. I mean, you had said it before, but
yeah,
what they've done, how they've recruited since 2000 at a very high level and have yet to, to capture a national title, just excruciating
they're
for that.
Top 5. They're right there with Florida State, Ohio State, USC, LSU, and Alabama. Boom. All those programs have won national titles, all of them, and most of them a couple of times. And I know it's hard. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay it, saying, hey, you got to win a national title to earn whatever level of respect in college football. Blah 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 blah. It's brutal. They had Bama. Bama was down 17-zip, 20-zip. So they've had their shots. And maybe they'll break through sometime. The recruiting's better than ever, so you would expect it. So we'll just wait and see. But I think when you start talking about underperforming teams, I like looking at it in tiers. So to me, your top 10 recruiter, your underperformer, that would be Georgia or a Texas. You go to that 10 to 20 range, definitely UCLA. 20 to 30, and then you start looking at some other teams. And then after 30, nobody cares, and we stop talking about it.
That's true. 10 to 20, I'd go UCLA and Tennessee and maybe South Carolina that jump out at us.
Yeah. Now is South Carolina really South Carolina is the A&M of the East, right? The number 4 recruiter, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Had a really, really good football coach there for 3 years. Had it going on. Had that win. And remember, Spurrier's window. Georgia having problems, Tennessee having problems, Florida having turnover problems. Steve Spurrier's a great head coach, but it was also in a window of opportunity, and when the East was maybe a little bit undermanned compared to normal.
True. Dave Bartoo. Bartoo on the Out of Bounds show. This is what Bartoo basically says about Georgia.
They're just the first loser.
Okay. Blake Scott, you got something for Bartoo?
Well, yeah, so Dave, just so I'm clear, you're saying that it was a nail in the coffin when A&M joined the SEC. They don't have a chance to win a national title anymore.
I would say their chance is extremely outside. Now, joining the SEC got them a ton of cash, okay? And their recruiting has actually moved past Auburn. They're the number 3 recruiter after 4 years after attrition coming into this year. So I mean they have a national title talent profile of Auburn 2010. That they need to go on a special run, okay, to be able to do it, because they're going to have to beat LSU, they're going to have to beat Alabama. Now you could argue and say LSU is going to be down this year. Lost their offensive coordinator, lost their defensive coordinator, lost a ton of guys to the draft. So they have a lot of talent, just really inexperienced. So there's a window there. Alabama, maybe some of the shines off of that, still very powerful from a talent perspective, but they don't have the elite coordinator that they had during their national championship runs. So there may be a tiny window of opportunity with that. I can't remember what their non-conference schedule is. Do they have Florida or Georgia out of the East?
A&M?
Yeah.
I've got it right here, buddy.
So. Yeah.
So A&M has South Carolina and Vanderbilt this year, Bartoo.
Dude, gift from the gods, right? So now you're looking. Now you have a schedule gift, and this is why people are really high on A&M. Is because you have a schedule window there. They're not playing Florida. They're not playing Georgia. Now, they're going to play Florida or Georgia in the SEC title game, so they're going to have to beat two top 5 recruiters, LSU, Alabama. They're going to have to beat the number 11 recruiter in Auburn. They are going to have to beat Lane. They're going to have to beat the Pirate. None of that is easy at all. But they do have a good window with the East schedule being so far down. But then they're going to have to go to the SEC title game. Now they're going to have to beat Georgia or Florida. And then they're going to have to turn around and beat 2 other, probably top 10 recruiters and certainly top 4 teams in the country to get there. And from that position of talent, it's been done once. That was Clemson, and that was with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
so
Kellen Mond.
Yeah, you want to bet on A&M. You bet on A&M when they have a guy named blank that is a clear first-round NFL quarterback. Because that's the only way teams that don't recruit at an elite level win national titles. Okay, Auburn at number 10 in 2010 coming into the season, they were an outlier for me. Quarterback, NFL first rounder. Okay, Clemson, outside the top 10, only team this century outside the top 10 of my recruiting numbers to win a national title. NFL quarterback, first rounder. And then you look at the teams that lost it, that were not in the top 10 of recruiting. Ducks lost it twice. Once with an NFL quarterback, Mariota, once without one. Virginia Tech won it with a first-round or runner-up, okay, when they lost to Florida State, but they still had a first-round NFL quarterback. So when you're talking about these fringe teams, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th in recruiting, and the first thing I'll look at is, do they have a first-round draft pick at quarterback? And if the answer is no, I wouldn't bet a dime on them to win a national title.
Dave Bartoo at CFB Matrix on Twitter, joining us on the Out of Bounds show. Coors Light guest line. I'm looking at A&M Bartoo, I know we've already previewed them, but they're interesting, and Mississippi State and Ole Miss play them every year, so it's a great tie for us. And I actually think that's one of Leach's really, really good opportunities to get an upset in year one. But even though A&M should win that game, but man, they should start out 3-6-7-1. Abilene Christian, North Texas, Colorado, Arkansas, all at home or neutral field. At Mississippi State, Fresno State at home. At Auburn is the tough one. And then at South Carolina. But look, they get 4 weeks. You know, we're talking about how weird this practice schedule could look and so on.
Right.
They get 4 with Kellen Mond, who's been starting for 4 years. Abilene Christian, North Texas, Colorado, Arkansas. They get 4 weeks to kind of work out the kinks, so to speak, and get up and running this year.
Well, and you look at Colorado and Arkansas, they have 2 new coaching staffs as well.
Right.
You know, so with A&M, you also have staff continuity, you know, and familiarity there. If the stadiums are empty, okay, different feel, right? I mean, it's going to be a different psychological feel. What's better? Seniors, obviously, you know. So with A&M, I mean, you go Abilene Christian, North Texas. You know, if you lose any of those, you're automatically out, right? So who cares? You know, so you expect them to win, but then you go Colorado new staff, Arkansas new staff, Mississippi State new staff, Fresno State. Is it their second year?
Maybe.
As a staff. And then, like you said, you go at Auburn, and then you have the huge trap game at South Carolina.
Right.
That's the solid as a trap game as you're going to get because you're coming off at Auburn. And then you have your bye in there. So if you're looking for that trap game, let's circle that South Carolina. I hope I said that the last time. I'm sure Blake's probably pulling up the repeat saying, "Oh, what Bartoo not say last time? What's different? I'm going to catch him now." like the kids in my wife's high school classes. Oh, I'm going to trip her up. And then Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, and then at Alabama, LSU.
It's a good for where they play. It's about, well, I don't know.
It's about as good as it gets.
It is real. I know, and you're still going to Auburn and Bama, but you know.
It is. Other than if this was an odd year, see in the odd years they get Auburn, Alabama at home, LSU on the road.
Right.
So imagine this schedule flip flop where Auburn and Alabama are at home and LSU's on the road. Now it becomes just the gift schedule. This is I'd put this as about as big a gift as possible. You know, given all the circumstances, senior quarterback, senior offensive line, continuity at the coaching staff. There's no turnover. You're facing 1, 2, 3, 4 teams that are having a complete coaching turnover. You're facing a LSU team that is having an offensive defensive coaching turnover, and South Carolina with the new OC. And so to me, more than anything, the 2 things to me I think that are really going to stand out about football this year is talent, because if the stadiums are empty or partially full or anything like that, I think that talent that is going to be more prevalent this year in terms of the ability to perform. You know, you're also looking at that continuity of coaching staff, having that strategy, the game plan, that continuity in place. I think that's going to be a big deal too. So, you know, to me, when you're looking at A&M, man, there's all sorts of good things in their favor for this year, except that show cause for Jimbo.
Dave Bartoo on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I think this is what Bartoo was basically saying to Blake.
It's been 50% trolls that are pissed about everything that take preseason stuff seriously.
Right. All right, Bartoo, which one? Let's start going through these. Which one's your favorite? Here we go.
Get that guy drunk. I bet he fights everybody.
Hang on.
The Gus bus is broke.
Hang on.
I was just doing a little exercise, just wasting time as I normally do, thinking weird stuff.
The weakest +1 ever.
Now, a lot of people say, well, the Pac-12 sucks this year. Okay, I'm not going to argue that.
He's like a bad drinking game. It just won't end.
They're like below Vanderbilt. I mean, they're like Mendoza line quality. I'd kick his ass out. Look, BYU is hard to profile because they got so many 29-year-olds that are married with kids on that team. Good.
Oh, this is so much fun.
Well, I can tell you one thing. The Four Roses was gone a long time ago.
Back to Georgia.
They're just the first loser.
And
Ooh, so tasty and ironic.
back to Blake
It's been
Scott.
50% trolls that are pissed about everything that take preseason stuff seriously.
Right.
Ooh, baby. Be hot take. Hot garbage. They got much amped.
All right, there it is. Which one's your favorite?
Oh, my goodness. That's a lot of shows.
That is a lot of shows, man. I don't know how many times you've been on. It's
More than 100.
way more. Yeah.
Oh, what I need to do sometime is get all the producers together and get all the drops from all over the country. It's like the radio show here at 1080. They got, I mean, they must have 100 of them.
All right, look, we've got a minute or two. Who are the? I mean, I know we're the best. Okay, outside of us, it's like when you start talking about NFL coaches, right? Outside of Belichick. All right, so outside of us, so what is your? Who cracks you up the most, or the hosts are super emotional? Like I could see the Nebraska guys, super homers. There's not another university in the state. This is a 50-50 turf war here. Like, give me something as far as
Some of the places I just like to be on with because they kind of know me.
Yeah.
And we can just basically BS the whole time.
Sure.
Outside of the number one sports station, sports show in Mississippi, obviously the Out of Bounds show.
Right.
Outside of that, I enjoy the local guys here at Portland at 1080. I go in. Well, I used to go in studio. Go in studio with those guys. And one of them's a former NFL player. So I really like talking. I found that I like talking to former coaches and players that are hosts. From their point of view. Every Tuesday, Bar Tuesday on the Chuck Oliver Show in Atlanta.
Bar Tuesday.
Isn't that funny? I don't know. I was like, where'd you guys come up with that? So yeah, every Tuesday is Bar Tuesday in Atlanta, and Chuck with his coaching background and so forth is interesting. The guys in Iowa kind of pop out in my head. There's a duo out there led by Chris Williams. And it won't happen this summer, but every summer they'd go on this preseason football tour in their friggin' drunk bong band all over the state. And I was like, dude, that'd be cool right there.
Hey, buddy.
Just be live all over the place. We done for the day?
We are done, my man.
Dude, I always enjoy it. I do. I would do it. I love all you guys.
All right.
Can't wait to be on again.
Be good. See ya. Dave Bartoo on the Miller Lite Guest Line and the Out of Bounds Show. Don't forget about the podcast. It's on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify. Check out our YouTube channel. Search Out of Bounds Sports. We'll see you tomorrow.